fellow I'm about to introduce next, I met him a couple of years ago, and I was just stunned at how humble he was, because I spoke to him, had a conversation with him, and then as the conversation finished, I says, "Oh yeah, who are you, by the way?" He says, "I'm deputy leader of the Green Party." And then it just gives me great pleasure to invite and introduce Zach Polanski, leader of the Green Party.
Congratulations. Wow, this is the energy. This is it. This is what is going to make the Greens win the Mayor of Greater Manchester. I came here to check my mic and we're ready to go, but we're ready to go, right? Yeah! It's beautiful being here, and it feels like a proper full circle moment, because actually one of the first times I came to Greater Manchester as deputy leader, you'll all know I was born here and grew up here, but as deputy leader when I came back, I was introduced to someone, the person I'm about to introduce today. But she was actually keener to introduce me to someone who just joined the party, was pretty new. It was clear that they were passionate, that they were going places. They were very passionate about their greyhounds. You may have heard the person I was introduced to, because she's now Hannah Spencer MP. And yes, and when Hannah eventually went on to become a councillor at that time in Trafford, she said that this person was amazing at sitting next to her in council meetings to check that she was okay, that she understood the procedures when she was brand new, to navigate the kind of complexities of political life. And she was there both in a compassionate way to support her, to nurture her, and also to make sure that she knew what was going on. And then obviously Hannah went on to be MP, that's a spoiler alert. Then Gorton and Denton, the Green Party took on the billionaire donors, and we won. And you know something? I'm kind of getting flashbacks of Gorton and Denton, being somewhere in Greater Manchester with an excited room, talking about the fact that this match will be the Green Party versus Reform. And then you've got, the Labour Party back then, saying lots of things that the Green Party aren't going to win. Lucy Powell kept sending me open letter after open letter. And they weren't even close. And that is what is about to happen again. Because this election is hope versus hate. In the Reform Party, you have a party that stoked division, that stoked toxicity, and they're on a bit of a losing streak. And then in the Green Party, you've got what we've got in this room and right across Greater Manchester. Ordinary people coming together because we believe that better is possible. We know when we organize in our communities, when we work together to end the toxic combination of high bills and low wages and the awful rhetoric that's coming out of Reform, and offer people a better future, that is how we can and we will win. And whilst there's so much hope in this room right now and right across the Green Party, we also have to recognise the challenges that Greater Manchester are facing right now. All across Greater Manchester, you're seeing skyscraper after skyscraper go up. Yet between 2020 and 2024, families living in temporary accommodation rose by 71%. Meanwhile, rents across Greater Manchester are far too high. Far too many people are struggling just to keep the roof above their head and keep food on the table. High street after high street across Greater Manchester, despite so many people's pride in the place that they're from, they're feeling, or they're not feeling, they're seeing that they're hollowed out, that they're not looked after. And it doesn't have to be this way. And this creates the perfect conditions for men like Nigel Farage to come along and stoke resentment and stoke division. But as I've often heard Hannah Spencer, MP, say, This is Manchester, and we do things differently here. It does sound better in Hannah's northern accent. I've lost mine, but yeah, I'm not going to do an impression. And so what are the solutions to this? Well, we know that. We need a green mayor who will build affordable social and council housing, that will lobby and demand from national government rent controls, that will look after our high streets and turn them back into the thriving, inclusive, accessible communities that we know that they sometimes can be, and they must always be. And so we need someone pretty impressive to do this job. And I think it might have been a pretty open secret that this election was about to happen. So for the last 5-6 weeks, I've been thinking about what are the qualities that you need in a candidate who's not going to just run an amazing campaign, but is going to control the budget, who is going to be the mayor of Greater Manchester and can do this job. You need someone with a plan, someone who is organized, someone who cares about others, someone who is compassionate and will lift up and empower all communities. Make sure that they listen, are there to protect both people and planet, protect our communities and protect the environment. And if all of that wasn't enough, I thought you need a little bit of luck. So how about the luck of the Irish? Please. Please welcome to the stage your next Mayor of Greater Manchester, Geraldine Coggin.
Hello Greens, I'm Geraldine, and as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm originally from Ireland, and like a lot of people who've come here from Ireland and from elsewhere, I have made Greater Manchester my home. Our city region is a place that welcomes newcomers. We embrace them, we learn from them, we teach them, and we move from being strangers to being friends and neighbours. We're all different here, and that is something we can celebrate, but we all have something in common, and that is this city region that we all call home. In less than 6 weeks, it is absolutely possible that our city region will be celebrating electing our first ever Green Mayor. It's just a few weeks since people across a really wide range of areas in Greater Manchester elected Green Party councillors in unprecedented numbers, putting their trust in our message of hope and unity. In fact, who here is a Green Party councillor or has a Green Party councillor? And it is just a few months since my Trafford colleague Hannah Spencer won big in Gorton and Denton, serving people in our city region as the first Green Party MP in the north. And I know a lot of you here were part of making this happen, am I right? Yes. And we are going to need teamwork on a scale that we have never seen before, because, like Gorton and Denton, this is an election that we can win. And like Gorton and Denton, this is going to be a straight race between the Green Party with our message of joy and hope and the toxic, divisive politics of reform. We know from the recent local elections that it was us and Reform winning seats across the board and Labour losing on an existential scale. When we campaign hard, we win. And this time round, we are going to massively expand our campaigning to finish the job. Because we all know that a Reform mayor would be a disaster for Greater Manchester. Can you imagine a Reform mayor making decisions on housing and transport that affect all of our daily lives? Can you imagine a Reform mayor making decisions about health and social care that affect vulnerable people? It terrifies me to think of them making decisions that will affect millions of people across our city region. And it is down to us to make sure that does not happen. And as for Labour, we are having this election because of their leadership failure and their internal psychodrama. We know that that Makerfield result was actually a damning indictment of everything our Labour government has done. So people have been asking me why I've put myself forward for this, and I want to tell you a story about a chat I had with a good friend about a year or two back. And we went for a big, long walk, and we had one of those long chats where you put the world to rights, and we talked about our worries about what's happening in our country and in our world, our worries about our children and future generations. And towards the end, she said something like, "I'm sure they'll sort it out." And that it triggered something in me, and I thought, who are they? The establishment have no solutions to offer. In fact, they are the ones who have got us into this situation. There are no grown-ups out there who are coming to fix this, and it is up to all of us to make this happen. We will take power back for normal people. Yeah. As a councillor, I've spent the last 8 years on Trafford Council fighting Tory austerity and now Labour austerity. And I have seen firsthand the effects on our residents and our environment of our broken public services. But I have a vision of the better world that is around the corner. We know that things don't have to be like this. We do not have to accept the status quo. And that is what gives us hope. And Greater Manchester, it needs hope. It needs hope and real change. No more tinkering at the edges. Too many people and places have been left behind, and we need to end our massive inequality. As your Green Mayor, I will prioritise people and planet over profits. I will work for those who are struggling to make ends meet and to get our high streets buzzing again. I will push back on a broken housing system that's designed to maximise profits instead of giving people the homes they need. I will go further and faster to get us the world-class transport system that we deserve here, and one that works for all our boroughs, not just for the centre. And I will fight for an economy that works for ordinary people, not the super rich. And I will fight and work to make this a city that celebrates our diversity and one where we all live as neighbours and friends. And you know, a Green Mayor of Greater Manchester, it will make a difference to our whole country. It will set yet another precedent for Greens winning big and making change. And it will send a very powerful message to Labour in Westminster. And that Green voice will exert a lot of power on whoever is next on the Prime Minister merry-go-round. Meanwhile, our planet is on fire. We are living through one of the greatest mass extinction events ever. This planet, it's our home and it is our life system. And as the first Green Mayor of Greater Manchester, I will be putting protecting our world and our communities at the heart of everything we do. As an experienced councillor, I've got the track record, I've got the knowledge, the skills, the training to take this step. I know the challenges ahead, and I am prepared. We can all imagine the cleaner, greener, more equal world that we all hope for. And in the next 5 weeks and 5 days, we are going to work together to do everything we can to turn that hope into a reality. Let's go on this journey together. I'm ready to lead. I'm Geraldine Coggins, your Green Mayoral candidate and the only choice to stop reform. So on the 30th of July,